All right, before we get started, I'm Sergeant Spain, and I'm conducting an internal affairs investigation.
Okay.
I'll go into asking you some questions and having you tell me everything, but before we do, you need to understand that what we talk about is pursuant to an open internal affairs administrative investigation. And as such, you can't discuss what we discuss with anyone else except for me or someone else from internal affairs.
Okay.
Okay, that includes people that work here, people that don't work here, your coworkers, your supervisors. That's it. Now, we'll be discussing the incident that occurred earlier, the fight that you were in. And if your supervisors need to talk to you about a report or something like that, that's fine. You can still do that because that's part of your job. But in terms of what we talk about right now, this is part of the investigation.
Okay.
Okay? Any questions about that before we start?
No.
So, before we get into it, I mean, I see the bandage on your eye. And I see this says corneal abrasion. I mean, I don't really know what that means. It's like a scratch.
It's a cut, yeah. 2 cuts, one at the bottom and one like in the top of my eye.
So what do they say about how the severity or how bad, or do they tell you it'll heal up? Or?
Yeah, he said it'll heal.
Okay.
But what he wanted to do is have me to wait until Friday and come back
To the
Friday
doctor.
morning. Yes.
Right.
Come back Friday morning. They're going to put some more of the numbing stuff and then I guess that blue stuff that he put in my eye to see if it healed or not.
Gotcha. Okay. All right, so obviously you were involved in an incident earlier with an inmate that resulted in an altercation.
Yes.
Tell me about that.
Okay. Well, earlier that morning, the inmate was out on free time. Do I start from there, or do I just start about what happened?
If you need to start from there, then you can start from there.
Okay. She was out on free time, on the other bottom tier free time. She's on the top tier. I'm assuming she got out when one of her roommates need to go to medical. She came out, stayed out. I saw her. She kept going up and down the stairs. I flashed her, told her to come over to the intercom, and I asked her what was she doing out while she was out. She said she didn't know she was supposed to be out. So I told her she needed to go lock down. Well, she decided to stay out and keep talking to the inmates. So I had to flash her several times to get her to go back upstairs. Anyway, she ended up going back up because I heard one of the inmates tell her, you need to go lock down. She wants you to go lock down, go back upstairs. So she goes back upstairs. And I segged her door, group segged her door.
Okay.
Well, around, I'm assuming it was 9:30, I went in to do pill call. She came out of the cell. She had no shoes on. She was way down there by 410. She's in 414. With her feet up on the rail, propped up on the rail like this. I told her she needs to get off the rail and go in her cell. She started cussing, fuck you, some other stuff she was mumbling. I told her she needed to come downstairs and go have a seat on the catwalk. Well, by this time, she said she needs to put her shoes back on. She went to put her shoes back on. She came downstairs, went and sat on the catwalk. I walked out behind her, told her to have a seat. She had a seat. I asked her what was wrong with her, trying to talk to her. She started cussing about she got all kinds of stuff on her mind. She don't give a fuck, blah, 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 blah. So I told her she needs to go to Section 1 until she calms down, and she needs to calm down. Well, when I escorted her over to Section 1, the broom was sitting up against the door because Section 1 was about to come out to clean for their free time. So I moved the broom out the way. I told Officer Pete to open the door. When Officer Pete opened the door, she stood there. She was still cussing and saying stuff, just mumbling stuff. She's kind of crazy. She kept on talking and cussing, talking about she's not going to go in, she ain't going no fucking where. Next thing I know, she had spit in my face, stuck her fingers in my face, in my eyes, pushed me all up against the catwalk on the ledge till I was laying over like this on the ledge. She had her fingers in my eyes and then she started choking me. So I started trying to punch her inside of her face to get her off of me. By this time, I didn't realize who it was until later on. Officer Harris came and pulled her off of me. When she pulled off of me, we fell to the floor. When we fell to the floor, I was trying to get up, but I couldn't get up, but she kept holding on to me. When I finally got up, I think other people came. I'm not sure who it was, but I know when I finally got up, she kept trying to get up, and I know I heard Harris telling her to stay down and put her hands behind her back. Well, I put my knee on her neck area to try to keep her down.
Mm-hmm.
By this time, other officers were in there, and I know Deputy Harris, I heard him telling me to let her go, get back. And then after that, I was escorted out. That's about it.
Okay. I probably should have started out that quick. There's usually a couple of questions that I ask before we even get into what I'm asking about. I forgot to ask those of you.
Mm-hmm.
How long have you worked here?
3.5 years.
Okay. And if you don't mind me asking, what did you do before you worked here?
The same thing.
Where at?
I worked in Texas. I worked for the prison system.
Department like?
Correctionals.
Okay.
State of correctional.
How long did you do that?
12, 13 years.
All right. So I'm not going to, I'm going to make this quick for you, and I'm not going to beat around the bush. I'm going to be really direct.
Okay.
Okay. Having done this before, I would guess that you have had some experience with using force at some point or another.
No, believe it or not.
No.
Not necessarily. Now, I know because I work with males.
Okay.
Okay, I didn't start working with females until I came here.
Okay.
Okay.
So you were never involved in an incident where you had to put hands on a male inmate?
No.
Okay.
Mm-mm.
How about...
The only time I've used OC on them because they were fighting one of the male officers.
That's still a use of force.
Oh, okay.
OC spray is a use of force.
Yeah. Okay. I thought you meant like tussling with them.
Have you written reports and stuff before?
What do you mean?
Have you ever written reports before
Yeah,
today?
I've written them.
Okay. Did you write a report when you had to use OC spray?
Yes.
Okay, so that would be like whether you called it a use of force report or an incident report or, whatever you call it, it was still a report regarding use of force.
Right.
Having been in corrections and then with the sheriff's office for, you said 12 to 13 and 3, you're talking about 15 to 16 years.
16 years.
Then you know that integrity and honesty are essential.
Right.
And if those things are called into question, then those people can't work here.
Okay.
Agreed?
I agree.
Okay.
I agree.
I'll also say that, no one is perfect, everyone's human, and, people have to make a judgment call at the time the best they can based on whatever's going on at the moment.
Right.
And in doing that, occasionally people make a mistake, and that's okay too.
Okay.
The sheriff's office can handle people making mistakes, but they can't handle people lying about them.
Right.
So, having said that, I need you to understand before you give me this statement again that if you lie, I can't do anything for you.
Right.
When I get done with my investigation, I'm going to type up what I find out, whatever the outcome is, and I give it to the sheriff, and then he does what he chooses to do with it.
Right.
The sheriff will be less inclined to keep someone who's been cited as lying as he will someone who's messed up and then owned up to their mistake. I'm trying to give you an opportunity now. I want you to explain the use of force again.
Okay.
And I need you to be completely honest and don't leave anything out.
Okay.
So you can start from when she, I guess, attacks you in front of Section 1.
Okay. Well, when she attacked me, like I said, she spit in my face.
Okay.
Okay. She threw me up against the the catwalk, till I was lying on the catwalk like this, trying to get her off of me. Okay. She stuck her fingers in my eyes. Okay. Then she started choking me. Okay. So I started punching her in her face, or with closed fist, trying to get her off of me. When Officer Harris came, we both hit the floor. Okay.
Right.
After that, when we hit the floor, I tried to get up, but I couldn't get up because she was kept holding on to me. Officer Harris was trying to get her to put her hands behind her back, telling her to whatever, comply, whatever she was telling her, giving her verbal commands or whatever to put her hands behind her back.
Right.
Well, when I got up, I took my foot, like I said, my knee, and put it on her neck.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. After that,
and to do that, I guess you were like in a kneeling position.
yes.
Okay.
Mm-hmm. After that, no. So it happened so fast. I'm trying. Yeah, like my knee on her neck. I heard, I could hear all this commotion around me. And then I heard Deputy Harris, I know I kept hearing him, telling me to get up, get off her, whatever. And then he pulled me away.
Mm-hmm.
Okay? And then they took me out to medical. So.
Okay. Are you familiar with the use of force continuum?
Yes, I am.
Okay. Lowest level being officer presence, verbal commands, soft hand control techniques, pressure points, and then it escalates up to OC spray, hard strikes, and things like that.
Right.
Okay. Now you say at one point she was choking you.
Yes.
She had her hands around your neck.
Around my neck.
Let me ask you this. If someone were choking you and they had their hands around your neck and they didn't stop and no one stopped them, what would happen to you eventually?
They would kill me.
Okay, so then that's a deadly use of force, right?
Okay.
So she's using lethal force on you by choking you.
Mm-hmm.
At that point, you'd be justified in doing whatever it takes to stop her from killing you, literally, right?
Yeah, and that's why I was punching her.
Okay, and that seems fair to me. And that makes sense. And she spit in your face.
Yes, she spit in my face twice.
This is going to be a really stupid question, but how did that make you feel?
It made me angry.
Okay, so you're angry. Your face has been spit on
And scratched up.
And scratched up.
Stuck
and
a
now
finger in my eyes.
now she's trying to choke you.
She's trying to kill me.
Right.
Right.
So I can understand that you would be upset. And you said you haven't been in many altercations like this before, so imagine there's a lot of adrenaline and there's a lot of stuff going on. Do you think it's possible that once she was on the ground, you did a little bit more than put your knee in her neck?
Could have, because.
I mean, because there was a lot going on. You were really amped up. She had just tried to choke you out. I mean, what other things do you think could have occurred? I mean, were you trying to maybe strike her or what? I mean, because personally, I can understand it. If somebody spit in my face. I mean, I know you know about the Cracker Barrel trial that just happened where the guy.
Well, actually, I was out of town, but I did hear.
Well, it's been in the news. Basically, the report is that this lady spit in this guy's face, and then his response was to punch her. And then they asked him, well, when is it right to hit a woman? And the answer is like, well, never. But when someone spits in your face, it's I don't know. It's almost like a reaction, So I'm just trying to see, like, if it were me and she had spit in my face, I'd be pissed. And until she's handcuffed, I'm probably going to do whatever I can to make sure that she knows she can't do that to staff, because we don't tolerate that kind of stuff. Does that make sense?
It does. It makes sense.
Okay, so I asked you a minute ago what else might have happened besides you putting your knee on her neck, and you said it's possible. So what?
It all happened so fast. Well, I heard that they said I kicked her. Kicked her in the head. Honestly, I don't remember that.
Okay.
Everything happened so fast. My eyes was burning and hurting. Face burning. My face still burning, and my eyes still hurt.
Right.
I really don't remember that. And if I did it, I apologize. And if I remember doing it, I would admit to it.
Right.
But I don't remember doing that.
Okay. So, but you think it's possible that maybe that happened in the midst of everything, and in the moment that could have happened? Is that something that might have happened?
It could have.
Okay. What about striking her? Because you said you said Deputy Harris was telling you. What did you say he told you? Told you something?
To let her go, get away from her.
So what were you doing at that point?
Back up. I was trying to keep her down.
Mm-hmm. But do you think maybe he saw something else? Maybe you were striking her while you were keeping her down?
I doubt it. I don't
think so.
know. Like I said, it happened so fast.
Right.
Everything happened so fast. Honestly, and it's like I was gone.
Let me ask you this. Is it possible, and like I said going into this, I mean, we can work with someone who is willing to say, yeah, I made a mistake, much more than we can work with someone who lies and sticks to it.
Right.
You know?
But I'm not lying.
Okay, but listen.
Don't think I'm lying.
Listen,
I'm not lying.
listen to my question.
Mm-hmm.
Is it possible that as angry as she made you by spitting in your face and sticking her fingers in your eyes and scratching your face up and then choking
and trying to kill me.
and trying to kill you, you know, and attack you, that in that, you know, moment, you being emotional and upset and, you know, scared for your life and angry and hurt, is it possible that out of anger, just being caught up in the moment, because it is human, that you did kick her while she was on the ground and then realize that, look, probably shouldn't have done that, and then leave that out of your report on purpose? Not as I forgot, but just saying I forgot to try to give yourself an out.
No.
That's not possible?
That's not possible, because if I would have done that, I would have put it in there. I would have wrote it down in there.
Mm-hmm. Okay. Do you think that if you kick somebody, you'd remember that? Usually?
I'm sure you would.
Have you ever kicked anybody before?
No.
So if you did kick her, then this would have been the first time you'd ever kicked anybody.
Yeah.
So
You
wouldn't
talking about what, inmate or
anybody?
people?
I mean, you go around kicking people all the
I
time.
don't want to go around kicking anybody.
So I mean, it would be something that it's not normal that you should remember,
Right.
right?
But I remember. But honestly, it's not
but
I
my-
do not remember.
But my thing
doing
is, you're saying that you've never kicked anybody before, and if you did kick somebody,
I mean, if I was little
it
or
would-
something. I don't mean since
it
I've
would-
been older.
It would definitely be something that you remember, and you don't remember it, but it's possible it could have happened.
It's possible. That's what I was told.
Okay, so who told you that?
Officer Patterson. She said I kicked her.
Okay. Is it possible Officer Patterson saw you kick her, or is it possible Officer Patterson saw something she thought was a kick and it wasn't a kick?
Maybe she saw a kick or thought she saw a kick. I mean, I can't answer that.
Okay.
She told me I kicked her.
Okay.
I was like, no.
All right. Let's see. I was about to ask you something else. Oh. So tell me about that. You said Officer Patterson told you that she saw you kick the inmate.
Mm-hmm.
Tell me about that discussion between the two of you, between you and Officer Patterson.
When I went to get my bag, get my
Mm-hmm.
drink and stuff out of 3,
Mm-hmm.
I was getting ready to do my report, and then I saw her report, and I saw there when she said I kicked the inmate. And I said, Patterson, why did you say I kicked that inmate? I didn't kick her. She was like, yes, you did. I was like, no, I did not. She said, yes, you did. You did. You kicked her. And that was it.
That was it? Okay.
Yeah, I mean, we said other stuff, and then I left out, but it wasn't about.
Did you ever tell Officer Patterson not to tell anyone about what she saw?
No. No, I asked her, I said, why did you say I kicked the inmate? You trying to get me fired?
Mm-hmm.
That's all I said to her.
Okay.
But I didn't tell her not to tell anybody that.
Okay. Is there anything else that we haven't discussed that maybe you think needs to be mentioned relevant to this investigation?
Like,
I mean, anything that you think needs to be talked about that we haven't talked about? You know, when I do an investigation, I listen to everybody that's involved. I'm not going to go talk to the inmate and talk to one witness and then draw some type of conclusion. I need to get everybody's point of view. So that's what I'm doing right now is getting your point of view. That's why I needed to talk to you today, because I wanted to get it while it was fresh in your mind, and I wanted to make sure to give you an opportunity to tell me anything that it is you think I might need to know.
okay.
So that's what I'm doing now. Is there anything else that you think I might need to know that we haven't already talked about?
No, nothing I can think of.
Okay.
All I know is I was very upset. And it all happened so fast. Like
That's understandable. I mean, to be upset like that, you know. I don't know if you know this or not. Well, you probably don't. I mean, I started working here in July of '99, and I worked here until the end of 2006, and I left for a couple of years, and I came back. And it was actually Christmas Eve. It was December 24th, 2000, We had just moved into this building. The power went out. We went down to the sections, and I was locking some inmates down, and I actually got attacked. Now, I didn't get the part of my eye scratched, but I don't know if you can see this I got a little scar right here on my eyebrow. Okay, well, yeah, I guess you're looking at one eye right now.
Yeah.
Anyway, I have a scar right here on my eyebrow, but I got attacked by an inmate and got into a fight, and it didn't really go so well. Actually, the inmate got my flashlight from me, and it was the size, about this size stinger, but it was a metal one. I get hit with that a few times, and I actually wasn't doing too well in the fight, and an inmate worker actually came and intervened. The radios weren't working because the power had gone out, and the repeater tower wasn't working, so the control officer could hear me, and I could hear the control officer, but no one else could hear us.
Okay.
And the phones were down, and I forget how he got it out, but I mean, it was a long fight. And then, even 30 seconds seems like a long time, But I just remember I was going to tell the guy to get off the phone because he wasn't getting off the phone, and I had never seen this guy before. I didn't know him. He didn't have any problems with me. He couldn't. I didn't know the guy.
Right.
And he wouldn't get off the phone, and I said, sir, and he turned around and just out of nowhere just hit me right here. And it really stunned me. He was a pretty big guy. But, I mean, obviously I was, at the time, just focused on trying to, fight as best I could until help came. But later I'm like, I didn't do nothing to that guy. I was pissed about it. So I can understand if somebody spit in my face, and you're just trying to do your job. Yeah, I could definitely understand being mad about that.
I heard about that, but I didn't know that was you. And they
well,
never said your name. They told us that in, what was that? When you first started.
Like in training or something like that, yeah.
But
Well,
they never said
there were
your
some
name.
other.
They never said what all the details.
There were some other people. I mean, it's happened. That getting hit has happened to several people. We had an officer, named Officer Womack. Actually, the inmate was Shawayne Branker, and he's in and out of here sometimes. So you might come across Shawayne Branker. But we were at the Lovejoy jail, and he had disabled the light in his cell. So the cell was disabled the light, so the light was out. He broke the light in the cell, so it was pitch dark. She went to do count, and she stood, half an arm length from the door. And when the door opened, it got about this far, and his fist came out, hit her in the face, and they were on the top tier. He came out, attacked her.
It was a female?
Yeah. And he actually cracked her orbital lobe or orbital socket or whatever you call it, the bone right here on her eye. That was pretty bad too. So I mean, stuff like that's happened. It's it's a dangerous job, but you just got to be careful. So that's it.
Yes.
Okay. You don't remember kicking her?
Really, I don't. And if I did, I apologize. I'm not trying to hide anything. But if I kicked her, I apologize for it.
But if you kicked her, you'd remember.
I would remember.
And if you
But I was very upset. I mean, it was like I just saw black. Like I said, my eyes was burning. My face burning. My chest was hurting.
Yeah. How you feeling now? Besides probably a little sore.
My face burning.
Yeah.
My eye hurting. My hand hurt.
All right. Well, I won't try to hold you up.
My knee.
I'll try to let you go to the house so that you can rest and everything and relax a little bit. There's one more thing we need to go over, though. This is an administrative investigation, like I said. And basically, I'm investigating allegation. And since right now that there's some talk that you may have kicked her while she was laying on the ground, that's actually the main focus of the investigation. So until the investigation is complete, what we're going to do is place you on administrative leave with pay. Okay?
Okay.
So what that means is, actually I've got...
I can't come back to work?
Let me read this to you. Let me give you an example. If an officer uses their firearm, and I know you didn't shoot anybody, but if an officer uses their firearm at work, they're placed on administrative leave until it's looked into, even if it's to shoot a dog. And there are certain other things that happen when we have to put someone on administrative leave, and kicking somebody on the ground is one of those things. So let me read this to you real quick. I'll let you try to read over it with one eye if you can, but I'm gonna read it to you first, okay? It's today's date. It says notice of administrative leave pending internal investigation. Correctional officer, how do you say your first name? Demita?
Demita. Right.
Demita Daniels, employee number 19089. I case number, it doesn't have one. It says to be determined.
Okay.
It says this document is to serve as official notification that as a result of your involvement in matters which are currently the subject of an internal investigation by members of the Sheriff's Office, you are hereby placed on administrative leave with pay you are to immediately surrender your badge, identification, and any firearms which may have been issued to you by the Sheriff's Office. While on administrative leave, you are not to act in any manner so as to hold yourself out as law enforcement officer or employee of the Sheriff's Office. Your privilege to hold secondary employment as an employee of the Sheriff's Office is also suspended for the duration of this period of administrative leave. While on administrative leave, you are to consider yourself on call to the investigating officer of the Sheriff's Office who is handling your case. You will provide said investigator with updated contact information to include the address where you may be found during this period of administrative leave and any phone numbers where you can be reached. You are reminded this matter is considered confidential in nature and is not to be discussed with anyone other than the investigators assigned to this case. If you have any questions regarding the investigation, you are to contact your investigators. This action is not to be considered disciplinary in nature, and no presumption of guilt has been attached to you at this stage of the investigation. Let me get your address.
Okay, 1310 Magnolia Circle.
And
Jonesboro.
30236.
Yes.
You have
So does this mean I'm not going to get paid?
administrative leave with pay.
With pay.
With
I
pay.
don't have any administrative time.
It's not going to use any of your annual leave. It's not going to use any of your sick leave.
Oh,
it's with pay.
okay.
It just means you can't be here right now while we're investigating it.
Okay.
Until it's done. Okay, with pay.
Okay.
What's your home phone number?
832. I don't have a home number. I
Okay.
just have my 832 number.
832. Can you give it to me again?
741
741
2042.
2042.
Well, can I go to town and see my mother? Because she has Alzheimer's, and I
Yep.
try to go every other weekend
Yes, you may.
and take care of her. Okay.
2117. Thank you, Jeff. Sign that right there, and then put the date and time underneath that line. And then I'm going to make you a copy of that. Okay, do you have...
So how long am I going to be off work?
Well, as long as it takes for me to complete the investigation.
Months? Weeks?
I wouldn't expect it to be that long. I work pretty fast.
Oh, okay, thank you. Please.
Do you have your county ID on you?
Yes.
I need that. And I
Okay.
need your electronic key card, and I need your employee key, and any other keys you've been issued.
Just that one.
I'm going to give you my card. It's got my phone numbers on it. The numbers on this card are wrong. I'm going to write the correct numbers on the back. I've
Okay.
changed offices a couple times.
God, I was going to ask you something. I can't remember.
Now, were you issued one ID card or two?
Just one.
Just one. Here you go. Like I said, these numbers aren't any good. I wrote my office and cell number on the back.
Okay.
Now, I may determine at some point that I need to interview you again.
Okay.
If I do that, if I make that determination, I'm going to give you a call
Okay.
and have you come in.
You let me know how to come, right? In case I'm out of town?
I'll let you know as in advance notice as I can.
Okay.
Okay. But like I said, until the investigation is complete, your duty hours are on call as needed by the
On call
investigator,
as needed.
which is basically when I need you to come in. That's when you got to come in. I'll be reasonable. You say you need to go visit your mom out of town. It's got Alzheimer's. I got no problems with that.
Okay.
That's on the weekend usually.
I go every other weekend.
Okay. Are you planning on
But-
going this weekend?
I did, but I don't want to get on the plane like this.
Well,
Everybody's looking at me.
I'll give you
So-
as much notice as I can, and I also won't ask you to come in on a Saturday or at
Okay.
8 p.m. I mean, it'd be during daytime hours and probably during the work week. If I even need to talk to you again, I may not need to.
Okay.
Okay.
All right.
You have any questions for me?
No, just how long is it going to take?
I don't know how long it'll take. But like I said, I understand you're not working until it gets done, and I've got
Right.
time restraints on the work that I do. So let me
Okay.
go make
So
you a
I don't have
copy
to come
of
back
this.
tomorrow?
That's correct, and your supervisor already knows this.
Oh, okay.
I'll be right back.
All right.
copy.
Okay.
You only have one ID card, right?
Yes. That's all.
All right, well, I'll either notify you when the investigation's done, or if not me, then somebody else from Internal Affairs, or somebody will let you know when you can come back to those.
Yes, sir.
And if I think that it's going to be a little bit longer, I'll give you a call. Today's Wednesday. You'll hear from somebody next week for sure.
Next week for sure.
If it's not anything else, it's to tell you that it's done, or it's to tell you that I'm still working on it, but I won't leave you in the dark. I'll
Okay,
let you know
great.
something one way or the other.
Okay.
Okay?
All right.
I hope your eye gets feeling better.
I hope so too. Thank you.
All right, well, I will also let the supervisor know what time
Okay.
you finish so that they can adjust your time
Okay.
accordingly.
Okay. Don't forget to give her that paper.
I got it right here.
All right.
All right,
Thank you.
thank you, ma'am.
Where's she going?
I think she said she'll wait out until visitation or something. I'm not sure.